Hi, Michelle here from Straw-Bearie, and welcome to 2023. I'm excited for a new year, and I want to thank all of my loyal supporters who have watched my YouTube channel and who are subscribed. Thank you. Today I'm going to share 23-ish life hacks or tips for the new year. I have very dry skin, and my dermatologist keeps recommending to me things that don't smell wonderful. I mean, they don't smell bad, but they're not, the name brands that smell so good. So what I do is I take the stuff that he recommends. So this is a body oil from Neutrogena that he recommends after showering. And I just take some essential oils, put a few in there, and now it smells so good and it makes me want to use it more. You can do the same with lotions. Connect with a friend. Try to connect with a friend every day. Maybe a new friend, maybe an old friend that you haven't spoken to in a while, but just making sure that you are putting yourself out there and connecting. It could be a text message, just, hey, I was thinking about you, how's your day going? But working on building those friendships doesn't have to be hard or take very long. Years ago, I found Fly Lady, and Fly Lady's big thing is to shine your sink every night. The sink never worked for me, but what does work for me is cleaning off my countertops and putting those things away before I go to bed. Because when I wake up the next morning and I see clear counters, that really helps me and that really makes me feel a lot better. So cleaning off my counters before I go to bed is a good tip. My next tip is to keep a gratitude journal. I started this year, and I tried to start one a couple of years ago and it didn't work, but my thing is I try to write down 3 things that I'm thankful for every night. Sometimes I forget, but it has really helped me to be a positive influence and to make me think positively and be more grateful for what I have. So I highly recommend getting some kind of notebook and just writing down things that you're thankful for. And if you're having a hard time thinking of things that you're thankful for, you can think of like, what are 3 things that are blue? What are 3 things that you've bought recently? What are 3 things that are living? What are 3 things that taste good? There's all kinds of things that we can be grateful for. Gratitude journal. Just do it. Turn on peppy music while you're cleaning and make it so that you're kind of dancing while you're cleaning, and it makes a chore so much more fun. So a couple of years ago, I was talking to a friend and I just mentioned something that I always do and that I've always have done that I thought everybody did. And she was like, wow, that's a great idea. Never thought about that. And I realized, not everybody has been brought up the same way or knows the same tips and tricks. So it's always good to kind of share. Every January, something that I like to do is to turn all my hangers around backwards. That way, the next year when I go to do this, I can see, I don't know if y'all can see this. This hanger is still backwards. It has been backwards all year. That means I have not worn this shirt for an entire year. So it's time for me to declutter. And it's also time for me to turn all my hangers around for the next year. The next one is this and that. So when I do this, I will also do that. And it's associating 2 things together to help you. For example, when I watch TV and a commercial comes on, I will exercise for 30 seconds. Or when I go out to the mailbox to check the mail, I will do 10 jumping jacks. Associating 2 things together. It doesn't have to just be exercise. It could be when I hear a siren, I will pray for the people that the siren is for. The next one is to exercise for someone else. Let me kind of explain what I mean by that. I'm not a big exerciser, and I know I need to do it more, but sometimes just exercising for myself isn't enough. So last year, I had a friend whose doctor told her that she really needed to start exercising and walking more. I'm a teacher and we're both at school and we both get there a little early. So the day after she told me that, I showed up at her classroom before school started and I said, hey, we're going on a walk. And we just walked around the hallways at school. And it became this routine that we still do in the mornings of walking around the school. Sometimes we can get almost a mile in before school starts. This month, the month of January, I am participating in a fundraiser to benefit St. Jude's, where I am walking my dog for 40 miles. And so as I'm walking, I've already gotten a bunch of donations, and I'm like, I'm going to feel guilty if I don't walk my 40 miles like I said I was going to for this fundraiser. So I'm exercising for the children of St. Jude's, and it's helping me, but it's also helping them. When I have leftovers from dinner, I try to put them in individual serving containers right then, because we don't seem to eat out of the leftovers and it will all go bad. So I put it in individual serving sizes, and then I put it in my freezer so that I can just reach into my freezer and I can grab one of my meals and I can put it in my lunch bag on the way to school. That way I'm also having more variety. I'm not just eating spaghetti all week because I made spaghetti on Monday. My next tip is to start and end your day with God. So actually my husband said something a couple months ago that convicted me, and it was God before Facebook, because I have this tendency to reach over and grab my phone when I first wake up to check my Facebook and see what's going on. And so now I still reach over and grab my phone, but the first thing I'm doing is I'm going to my Bible app and doing a devotional. And then at night, before I go to sleep, the last thing I do is read a scripture verse and say a prayer. So I'm starting and ending my day with God. This is my new dog. Her name is Mozzie, short for Mozzarella. And she's a puppy. She's 7 months old. And she decided to climb into bed with me so I could film this one. Isn't she cute? Make specialty drinks at home. Instead of spending all that money on that, $7 coffee or tea. I don't really drink coffee. Make it yourself. So I have some chai tea. It's just my store brand chai tea. And I usually add some honey to it while it's still warm and some milk. And then I top it off with some whipped cream and drink it sometimes hot and sometimes iced, and I just have it in my mug, and I just love having a specialty drink that didn't cost me so much. And also, to go buy the specialty drink store in the morning takes a lot of extra time and a lot of extra planning. While I'm here with whipped cream, I have to tell you, as a child, we never had whipped cream. It was not heard of. Something like this was not practical money-wise. But just recently I discovered it, and oh my goodness, it makes my drink so much nicer and special. And since I don't have kids at home anymore, I'm an empty nester, I can splurge. I can have myself some whipped cream on my own chai tea, because you know what? I'm an adult and this is much cheaper than going and buying the $7 chai tea at the coffee shop. These are breadcrumbs. They are just pieces of bread that have been put in a food processor. These are seasoned, that you use to cook with. These are also breadcrumbs. They are the hills of bread that before they went bad, I dried them out, and I haven't even put all of them in the food processor. Some of them are in the food processor and some of them haven't made it there yet, but they are the same thing. They are breadcrumbs. Make your own breadcrumbs with those little pieces of bread before they go bad. Dry them out and crumb them. About a month ago, I was reading a book, and in there was a little tip, a little hack that I was never thought of before, and it was such a little thing, but it was like life-changing. So hopefully you're finding these tips helpful. The next tip is to make your bed every day. For me, that usually just means throwing the covers up and not making it perfectly, but just having it mostly made. And when I come home in the evening or ready to get in bed, it just feels so much nicer having the bed already made, having the bed made, and looking just a little bit nicer than it would if I had just left it completely unmade. I'm reading the Bless book at church. This is Bless by Dave Ferguson and John Ferguson, and it's about how to bless your neighbors. And in here, in chapter 3, he talks about praying, and that when he prays, he takes out a piece of paper or notebook and he writes down the person's name. And after praying, he listens. He stops and listens. And he has the notebook out so that he can write down if something comes to mind. And that just blew me away. To write something down if something comes to mind so that you can remember it and think about it. And I just thought that was an awesome idea. My next tip is to have a small dish or tray where you normally take your jewelry on and off, and leave that there for your frequently worn jewelry so that it's easy to put away. Take a dry erase marker and write positive affirmations or scriptures on your mirrors, and every time that you clean your mirrors, you can go ahead and update your inspiration. Do it on the mirrors in your kids' bathrooms too, because they could also use that affirmation. Hang up inspirational words or quotes or Bible verses or instructional things inside of some of your bathroom cabinets so that you'll see them all the time. This one is a reminder of what to look for when I'm looking for skin cancer, and to remind me that I need to check. And this one, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble, from Psalm 46:1. The next one is to menu plan, and it doesn't have to be perfectly perfect. This one I made for Christmas when I had family over, and we moved some things around a lot, but it kind of gave me an idea of what we were having, gave other people an idea of what we were having. I've also in the past used letter association like Mexican Monday or Taco Tuesday, so that we would know kind of what we were eating those days. Okay, I wasn't always Mexican or tacos. Sometimes it was Macaroni Monday, but just having that little association helps me think of what to eat and what to plan, because, you know, who, as a grown-up, I never knew that I would spend so much time trying to figure out what to cook and what to eat. Make it just as easy to put something away as it is to leave it out. If it takes less than 10 seconds to put it away, then go ahead and do it. So a lot of times at night, I'm sitting there, I have my drink, and I just go to bed and I leave my cup sitting out. But you know what? It takes less than 10 seconds to get up from my chair, to go to the kitchen, and to take my cup and to place it in my dishwasher. Be generous. When you see one of those Facebook fundraisers, go ahead, donate $5. It doesn't have to be a lot, but it'll make the person who started that fundraiser very happy that you gave, and you're doing it for a good cause. So just go ahead. And I've always had the attitude of like, oh, I'm too poor, I can't do that. And I just automatically say no to things. And lately I've been saying yes, and it's really blessed me. Another thing you can do is, like, every time that you are at the grocery store, you could pick up like a Hot Wheels car. They cost like $1. And you could save those for Operation Christmas Child. You could also shop clearance. Go by the clearance aisle, and if there's something that's really good price, buy it to donate. I was at Walmart and they had stuffed animals on sale for after Christmas clearance, and so I have a bunch of stuffed animals for my Operation Christmas Child shoeboxes all ready to go. Use small cardboard shoeboxes to make dividers in your drawers. They're usually free, and they make it very, very easy to organize your drawers. Luckily, in this dresser, I have some very small drawers, so I don't have any boxes right now, but I've always used boxes in the past. I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel like I live out of my car. I don't always carry a purse, so I try to make sure that I have some kind of box in my car of things that I might need. Maybe it's a hat if it gets cold, or a jacket if I forget a jacket someplace, or a pen so that I can write something down. Another thing that I do that I started when my kids were little is I keep a case of water bottles in the back of my car so that I always have water available if it's ever needed. Sometimes I've given them out to people. Sometimes they come in handy for myself. This next tip actually comes from Awesome Marriage, where I got these prayer cards for. You can get them for a donation, and they go in every room of your house, like near the door. So this one's in my garage, and they just have prompts of what you can pray. So as you walk past, you can see something to pray for. And so like the first one says that God would protect your physical home. So I can read that, I can pray that, and it just helps me to be in the right state of mind and to pray continually. Instead of New Year's resolutions, come up with a word for the year that you can remind yourself about all year long, and it can just help you to focus whatever it is that you want to focus on that year. You can even take the word and make it like the lock screen on your phone or on your computer so that you're reminded of your word all the time, or write it on some post-it notes and hang it up around your work and around your home. Thank you so much for watching this video about tips and tricks and hacks for 2023. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and in the comments below, tell me a tip or trick that I missed that you like to do. Toodles!